Hi, Dharma Circle. Swati here, the Embodied Dharma Coach. Happy New Year, or Happy Gregorian New Year. This is my first class back in the group in the new year in 2023, and I'm excited to be talking about Jyotish with you today, Vedic Astrology, and how I have grown a 6+ figure business, a Dharmic business, using the wisdom of Jyotish or Vedic astrology for over a decade now. And I'm going to be sharing with you why you need this tool as well in order for your success, and what happens when we're not in alignment with nature's cycles and rhythms in our body, but also in our business, because this is the key feature of a Dharmic business. And I started my business over a decade ago, sharing Jyotish, sharing my unique body-centered perspective of Jyotish through blogs and articles, and created a newsletter. I was doing private sessions for people and supporting them with clarity on the Dharmic path. And fast forward 10 plus years, over a decade later, still here, still sharing Dharmic wisdom and also Vedic astrology, but supporting experienced healers in trusting their own medicine. And that's really what my passion is making sure that this world has healers and guides who trust their own medicine, embody their own gifts, and are well compensated in the process. So we're creating a solid structure for your body and business success. And Vedic astrology is a huge part of this process of success, especially on a Dharmic level. And of course, Vedic astrology is very ancient. It's from the Vedic tradition. This wisdom is thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. And the ancient Jyotishis, the rishis, and the wise ones from the Vedic tradition knew that this map of the body would support Dharma. And that's really the sole purpose of the Jyotish process, and using Jyotish as a tool for consciousness development. It's always been used for giving clarity for the path, so that we don't get lost, so that we can stay connected to the light of our own soul and our Dharmic gifts, the wisdom that we're here to embody, express, and share. And typically there are two paths, the career path and the Dharmic path. And I believe that our time, being in Kali Yuga, this time of ignorance and darkness and adharma, we need Dharma more than ever. Dharma is what keeps the light of the soul lit, and what will keep sattva, or purity, passed through the generations so that it can be restored. And Jyotish is an amazing tool to support us in that, if we use it properly. And when, typically someone would walk a career path and then retire and then focus on their Dharma. So then pursue their spiritual intentions, then go after what their heart and their soul is longing for. And I think that's backwards. And I believe that we need to make sure that Dharma is the priority from the beginning, and that we are setting ourselves up for success as well as our lineage. That Dharma is sustained and maintained. And that means that, as householders, we are sharing our gifts and wisdom, but we're being compensated for these gifts. Having spiritual and material success is vital in order for spiritual growth and development. In order for Dharmic wholeness, we must also consider the material abundance that is necessary as well. And so in order to be successful, and this is really my definition of success dharmically, is that we are honoring spiritual and material wisdom and success, growth, abundance, nourishment, wholeness on all levels, and that both are being honored fully. And Jyotish can help us with that, because your Jyotish chart will actually support you in clarifying your Dharmic path and the fourfold path of Dharma, which includes Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And so all four of these paths support the wholeness of Dharma, the light of your soul. So remember that this tool can be used in a variety of different ways. It's currently being used mostly for prediction. The highest purpose of Jyotish, however, is for healing purposes and for supporting our alignment with nature and natural law, so that we can be in right relationship with her intelligence, which is also our body intelligence, our own body wisdom. And when we go against nature, when we go against Dharma, that is called adharma, that which goes against Dharma. And we cannot be successful, dharmically speaking, when we're going against nature or our own body. And that's the brilliance of Vedic astrology, is that it truly supports and enhances the intelligence of nature and our own body wisdom. And when we create a business structure and we sync our business steps with her rhythms and cycles, and we listen to our own body needs and wisdom, it enhances our success both spiritually and materially. And that's what I want to talk about today, to remind you and encourage you to be using this tool, this ancient tool of Vedic astrology, to support your material and spiritual success. And I'll give you an opportunity to gather more of my Jyotish resources and business support at the end of this class, so stay tuned. So how did I build a six-figure Dharmic business using Vedic astrology? Well, first of all, remember that there are dire consequences when you build a business that is not in harmony with natural law, and that means you're not taking right action. This is why a lot of businesses fail. First of all, they're not Dharmic. They're just a career path, sharing something that may or may not have to do with the purpose of your soul or the lineage gifts that you are here to carry forward or perpetuate or enhance or grow with or share for the lineage. And so when we're not in harmony with nature and nature cycles and rhythms, we're going to be making a lot of missteps. And it's things like as simple as we don't launch a new amazing offering in the middle of an eclipse cycle. And you'd be amazed. You'll see people do it. They'll throw something brand new out in the middle of a spiritual sacred gap that does not support material world growth. So knowing timing is essential. It's the same, it's why in Vedic astrology we would time a marriage or something that we want to last and really be nourishing and supportive. We would time that with nature so that there's a good starting point, that nature is supporting this endeavor, that there's strength, there's support behind it. And we want all of our business steps and our actions to be aligned in this way as well, so that there is maximum nature support. And I literally time my newsletters with the constellations and make sure that there is a constellation that supports and enhances the purpose or the intention of this communication. I time our classes and even these Wednesday classes. Why did I choose Wednesday? Wednesday is the day of Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication and commerce. And so there's a reason why I do my live classes here in the Dharma Circle every Wednesday. And it supports the wisdom of Mercury, and it supports communication. So we can time our steps, our business choices, our actions, our behaviors to be supported by nature. And that means knowing cycles and rhythms and waxing and waning cycles, understanding the constellations that best support or enhance the intentions that we have. It also means that we are really honoring our body and listening to our body wisdom. One of the things that is so important to recognize is that, yes, we're in technically a new year, but this is a Gregorian calendar. It's not based on nature. It's not based on nature's cycles and rhythms. And if you're really paying attention, you'll notice that your body is not ready to start something new right now, particularly in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's a little different because you have more light than us here in the north. But our bodies are saying, whoa, wait a second. This is time for pause, stillness, really digesting the previous cycles. And that includes digesting grief that has not been tended to, so that we can make space for the cycles ahead that are about growth and expansion and being visible and being out in the world. But that's not what nature is actually asking of us right now. And if you look around, at least where I live, we have snow on the ground. There are no leaves on the trees. There is, a howling wind, and the days are very short. This is a reminder that every part of our life should be in alignment with this wisdom coming from nature. Even our business. Our business should be focusing on that which supports this slowing down, this tending to the pause and digestion. Fortunately, Mercury's retrograde at the moment, so there's a nice support from nature around cleanup, mental body cleanup, financial cleanup, communication cleanup. And so we're being supported to do this cleanup right now. And that's what will best honor this time period. People aren't ready to start fresh and jump into New Year's resolutions and, take the bull by the horns and get things done. That's not what nature is supporting right now. And it's one of the reasons why people's goals and intentions and New Year's resolutions, they fail. Because when you're setting intentions right now, it's like planting a seed in the snow. And that's fine, but don't expect anything to develop for another 6 months. We need time to really support the root. And I always say to my clients, with their Dharmic businesses, it's roots before branches. And I consider Vedic astrology to be that which supports the root so that we can truly expand and grow and flourish, and the branches can have something solid and firm to root into. And body is also the root. So it's a body and then business. That your business is a result of what the body needs and what the body says. Jyotish can help us with understanding that. And that is the foundation of how I have grown my 6+ figure spiritual business, Dharmic business, using Vedic astrology, because I'm allowing nature to support my action. That's what right action is, that nature supports our action. There's nothing more sad or unfortunate to me than seeing someone who is so excited and exuberant to share their knowledge and wisdom, and they don't have the supportive nature behind them. So I'll look at a Jyotish chart and I'll see, wow, I hear your readiness, but that's not what this time is all about for you. This is not what the cycle is all about for you. A lot of times people will come to me ready on a mental level to expand and grow financially, but this time period for them in their chart is about grief work and the necessary vital grief work cleanup that has to be tended to in order for Dharma to take root and for the ancestors to support them in this growth process. And so we want to know timing, and that allows us to be in right relationship with the cycles and the rhythms, both in nature, our body, and also why we came into this planet. Because in fact, your Jyotish chart will show you the cycle you picked up in this body when you took your first breath, and how the cycles continue to spiral throughout this lifetime based on the moment you stepped in. And of course, it's determined by when you stepped out in a previous life. But we want to know these things. You know, what is this life for? What is the purpose of this life? And that will support and enhance your spiritual and material success as well. And so even if you're a beginner and you're new to Jyotish or Vedic astrology, maybe you've heard of it, or this is maybe even the first time you're hearing it, there are some easy ways to get started and start tracking things. First of all, you can type transits below and comment transits, and I'll send you a link to my monthly moon wisdom and transit report that I share for experienced healers who really want to sync up with these cycles and the wisdom of their bodies and nature. And that's a good place to start tracking this. If you have not had a Jyotish chart done, you'll need a Jyotish chart, and you'll need to be walking with a very competent, nourishing, supportive guide who can plant seeds of harmony in your bodies rather than seeds of harm. And I say that because I have personally been harmed multiple times by Jyotishis. It's one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about doing least harm with my work and my offerings. I've taught several classes on that in this group, but trauma-informed, being really careful and mindful of the seeds that we plant and how we say things, no matter what we see in the chart. And unfortunately, Jyotish has been used for harm for many, many years, and depending on the consciousness of the Jyotishi, you may have a negative experience, and we don't want that. We want to use this tool in a way that is truly nourishing and life supportive. And so making sure that we're using this tool, this ancient tool, for least harm, really important. And so even if you're a beginner, you can start tracking the transits with your chart. And my favorite way to start this process is simply by tracking the moon and understanding that the moon changes signs every 2.5 days and changes nakshatras or constellations roughly every 24 hours. So you can be tracking the moon and at least know what the constellation is. And there are some apps out there that you could use to see at least where the moon is moving. And that is a good place to start for understanding timing. So get yourself a good Jyotish book that has nakshatra wisdom and start tracking the daily moon cycles and the feeling level that comes with the moon in each nakshatra. That is my suggestion for a starting point, and that you start timing your action steps with this moon wisdom and the constellations that will support or enhance growth. So for example, we want to make sure that we're not starting projects with, say, a constellation that is for violence or aggression. depending on the intention of the action or the project or the intention or the goal, we'd probably want something that was a more dharmic constellation, a constellation that is more about community and connection and soul work and enhancing the nourishment of the soul. And I'll see this where people will not start at the right time. And unfortunately, that can have dire consequences on the success of the project or the endeavor. And that can be soul crushing. It can be truly disappointing. It's sort of like starting something right now in the dead of winter. This is that time of year where we need to go slow and turn really inward. So the other reason why this is really important is to track ebbs and flows. And again, starting with the moon, you should know when there's a waxing cycle and a waning cycle. You should be able to feel this in your body. If you're an experienced healer, you should be able to have a fine feeling level of what's happening in your body and how nature is supporting this feeling. Jyotish is just going to enhance this awareness and reiterate what you already know to be true. But it's really nice to have a map and a body map as well. And when we are tracking cycles and really honoring waxing, waning, we can honor that this is going to not only affect our body, but also our business. When we're in a moon cycle that is more of an inward waning cycle, and depending on the constellation of the new moon or full moon, you should be aware that finances will slow or diminish. You should be able to prepare for that and recognize, depending on the Saturn cycle or the Jupiter cycle or whatever dasha cycle you're in, that this might not be a time for, full tide, a high tide, that it's actually a low tide moment. How do we prepare for the low tide? How do we prepare for the slowing down? Just like winter is a slowing down. How do we prepare for that? And sync with the pause and the digestion, because this is truly necessary in order to have a maximum growth cycle for the expansion, waxing, the high tide. If we don't tend to the low tide, the grief work that is necessary, the digestion that is vital at low tide, we will never have or experience the high tide of our dreams. So, reminder to use Jyotish as a way to sync with the ebbs and the flows, the waxes and the wanes, high tide and low tide, and to prepare. And of course, it's also about prevention. It's also about preventing challenges and obstacles. So this is one of the main reasons why Jyotish is the most important tool for enhancing your body and business success and your spiritual and material success as well. That when we are honoring nature and nature cycles and rhythms and creating our business, our offerings, growing with nature, we can truly support and enhance our success on every level of life. So if this resonates for you, if this makes sense, if you want to sync with nature cycles more fully, if you want a map, if you want structure, if you want to plan better for your body and business success, type transits below. I'll send you the link to my monthly moon calendar where I also give you transit wisdom. And I'll follow up with you as well to see what you need for business success this year. What's missing for you? And what is your body telling you it needs in order for more success and growth spiritually and materially? So I'll look forward to hearing from you, sharing my Jyotish wisdom and Dharmic business success strategies with you. And I think personally, after looking at the transits and seeing what's ahead, 2023 is going to be a powerful year of growth, but we want to use it properly, and we certainly want to be in right relationship with what nature is supporting on all levels of life. And honoring the wisdom of Jyotish and using that to enhance our growth in body and business is truly so important. So I hope this was helpful for you today, and type transits below. I'll follow up with you with more Jyotish resources and business success strategies. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.